time for the Power Lunch Live Show. Whitehouse. Every week it's time to tune in. For diverse voices, let the chat begin. Fun, free-flowing, unpredictable too. You never know what's coming, it's all up to you. The Power Lunch Live Show, come and see. Powered by random happenstance and serendipity. Michael Whitehouse is the host. Watch it live, you'll love the show the most. The Power Lunch Live Show, come and see. Powered by random happenstance and serendipity. Michael Whitehouse is the host. Watch it live, you'll love the show the most.
Hello and welcome once again to the Power Lunch Live Show. I am indeed your host of the show you'll love the most, Michael Whitehouse, the guy who knows a guy. Every week we do bring together as many as 4 fantastic guests, and they are hiding behind me right now. So let's see who we have on the show. Ta-da! So today we have Biz Coach Steve Feld and Andrea Anderson. Let's meet our guests. So Biz Coach Steve, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Why, thank you, Michael. Well, I am Biz Coach Steve Feld. I've owned and operated 8 different businesses, ran 3 others and doing turnarounds, and then I've also written 9 books about business for small business owners. I also mentor for areas like SCORE and Arizona Commerce Authority, among many others, and do presentations. My passion is to see small business owners survive and thrive and stop making business so dang hard. So business owners hire me to help remove that chaos, put in the systems and controls and the focus so they could build a long-term sustainable business. I'm happy to be here and looking forward to talking and helping everyone out.
Awesome. Welcome. And Andrea Anderson, tell us a bit about yourself.
Awesome. Thank you. Happy to be here. I am Andrea Anderson. I'm the CEO of Productive Environment Institute, and I live in Carolina Beach, North Carolina. And I'm excited to be here and share with you guys. What we do is we help business owners and professionals organize their time, space, and information so they can accomplish their work and enjoy their lives. So when we have business owners that are trying to run their business and do all kinds of things, and then they're dealing with paper clutter on their desks or overflowing from their filing cabinets or on their kitchen counter or wherever, as well as email and electronic information. So we help them declutter and then put in systems so they can stay organized and focus on what they're meant to be doing.
All right. Yeah, I've heard about that clutter thing. I mean, it's not anything I deal with, of course, but I've heard other people may have clutter issues.
Other people, yes.
And I'm not going to rotate my camera to the left or to the right for the entire event. So there's nothing to see here. Trust me. 2 quick announcements before we get on to the conversation. First off, for anyone watching who has not yet gotten their ticket for JV Connect, you should do that because it is the dedicated networking event where you can meet awesome people and truly connect with them in a virtual space. September 10th and 11th, jv-connect.com. And an hour from now, give or take, is the Entrepreneur Village, which you can get to at guywhoknowsaguy.com/village. So if you enjoy watching the kind of people I hang out with, join me in the village to hang out with the kind of people I hang out with. All right, that's all my announcements. Okay, so I see that there's always some theme and alignment of the people who show up to the show, and rarely is it so clear about like, oh, your specialties match. How odd. Usually it's something like, oh, you're both from Guatemala. Interesting. Let's talk about that. But you're both about business and systems and bringing organization, bringing order out of chaos. So this will be an unusual show where we talk about like business stuff and systems and processes. So Steve is going to lead us off on his topic. So Steve, you got 3 to 5 minutes to teach us something.
Oh, okay. One of the things I've been seeing, obviously, since the pandemic is a lot of business owners during the pandemic were trying to sell their business because business was down. Life just got turned upside down. They didn't have the systems and processes in place to do any pivots. And the big thing I noticed is they had no long-term goals. So what's the purpose of your business? And I would ask that simple question, and I'd always get the blank looks or the rambling on that didn't go anywhere. So that I knew there was a serious need out there. And a lot of people I knew were business brokers. So they were calling me up going, oh boy, Steve, you got to do something to help these small business owners. They didn't build a business. And there is a difference between building an income stream and a business. An income stream, and I've met many of these people, owner operator with probably their spouse and kids in the business, have had a great living, making $100,000 a year or whatever it is, and enjoying life. But then they want to retire. There's no business to sell, because if you take the owner operator out of the business, there is no business, because that's the person who's the sales, the accounting, the marketing, the everything person, nothing else. That's not a business. That's a great income stream and a great living. Whereas on the other hand, a business is something you're building up with putting systems and processes in place. You have a clear-cut goal. What is the purpose of your business? What is your exit strategy, which many people have never sat and thought about? Because if you know why you are building the business, you can actually build it towards that exit strategy. Like they say, know the end in mind, everything else will start falling into place. Go towards that goal. I'll give you an example. In one of my businesses, I said, I'm going to build this to sell it to either my competition or someone that's related in my market, a vendor or something. Everything I did in systems and processes, I built it towards to be sold. So I knew at the end of the day, if someone came to me with an offer, I can hand them my playbook, my operational guide, and I can hand them the keys to the business and walk away. I sold them a business. I'm creating a business. And then I've also had a business where I said, you know what, I'm going to be in this business forever. I'm going to build up the retirement income until I die and then just close it down. Well, economic downturn hit, kind of thwarted all those plans. I didn't build a business. I built a great income stream. So knowing that is like, you have to look at your own business. What is your end goal? Do you want to go to the beach, live in Tahiti, having drinks on the beach? Then let's build it to that so you can actually sell your business to someone that has the systems and processes in place where they'll buy it. Or are you just building it up to refill in your retirement income and going off of that? Or is it possibly legacy, passing it down to your kids? And I know we've had many conversations in many groups, Michael, that kids don't want your business. They don't. They have different passions and wants and needs. That's 8% of all businesses are legacy transfers. 8%. And those 8%, 6% of them, like 90% of that, they're just like, well, okay, I guess so, Dad or Mom. And the others are like in the business, running the business, really going to take it over. Because most businesses don't make it past 3 generations. So that's something you also think about. Or what about selling it to your competition or even breaking it up? I had one business where I'm going to make sure the assets were greater than the whole. And I did that. It was by accident. I was thinking about selling it, but then I realized my assets were greater than the value of the business. So I sold it that way. So I would say to anyone recommending that first, what is your exit strategy? What does retirement look like? What does after this business look like? I mean, I've owned and operated 8 businesses. Believe me, on my last business, I said I'm going to build it up. And once I lose the passion, I'm going to sell it off and I'm going to start a different business. And I did that from my last business to this business. And then now this business, I sold off 90% of everything because I started refocusing and doing some shifts. So I built it to sell bits and pieces of it. And I'm much happier by doing that. But have the goal, what are you going to do with your business? And if you need help, this is where, it's not just me. There's plenty of people out there that can be more than happy to help you out, get that clarity. What is your exit strategy? And how do you want to make your exit? And let's build the business towards that.
Yeah, I was talking to someone the other day about working with my daughter in my business. They said, what if she's not interested in your business? And I said, aha, this is where I'm playing the long game. My business has no focus. You may think I'm just unfocused. No. I am simply prepared for a massive pivot when she's ready to get involved.
There you go.
Oh, you want to open a cafe? That's fine. That's within my scope of everything. Yeah. So I'm actually playing the long game. I'm not just lacking focus.
Yeah, I played the long game and then pivoted. Thank God I was building it and not knowing that I was building to pivot.
Yeah, but no, I totally understand. My father wanted me to take over his business, but never included me in that strategy, in that plan.
Yeah.
I did actually end up working for him for a while. I'm like, I don't want to do this. He taught people with special needs to drive, and that was his calling. That was like what he was put on earth to do. It's not what I was put on earth to do. That is not my gift. Glad I did it. Learned a lot, but like I don't want no. That's not what I want to be doing. So, and I think it's a mistake a lot of parents make too. Is they don't bring the kids in on the conversation. It's like, you're gonna take over the business, right? I'm sorry, I'm gonna what?
Yeah.
Yeah. So when I was 28 was when he thought I was gonna start getting involved.
Oh. Interesting. I laughed, Steve, when you said that they don't, your kids don't want your business, and they don't want your stuff either. They don't want your clutter. They don't want your stuff. And that's something. Yeah,
beautiful.
That's something we run into, and Yeah. We actually have a client that she was not involved in a family, and it was a decades-long family business. And she was not involved in the business at all, but now she has inherited it and inherited 8 decades worth of banker's boxes of files and paper that she is now responsible for. So, and there was really no plan. There was no, hey, this is what you need to do, or here's how you handle this. And now she's got this all on her. So it's an interesting, I could see what you do would be very, very helpful for her in that process. So yeah, there's a lot to cover.
You didn't pass down a business, you passed down headaches.
Yeah, and as I think about my father's business, he was so integrally involved in it that it wasn't. I mean, he had some other instructors, but it still always came back to him. Right. So there would have had to be some master instructor who wasn't me. So I would have had to find someone with my father's level of skill. I mean, I could have been the CEO overseer, but I would have had to find someone with my father's level. At the time, I was like, I don't want it. But I'm thinking back 15 years later, I mean, what he was doing was great. I think I saw the business opportunity there, but yeah, it's that I couldn't do what he did. And there's something that couldn't be systematized because someone has to teach the skill set, because it's not, it's not, a lot of businesses are more a matter of like, they work with a couple of vendors to bring things together and they buy ingredients and put them in the pot and cook them. This required like actual hands-on someone in the car teaching someone with a particular skill set and personality and experience set. And I think that's really, and that's the challenge. Something that's very hands-on is it's not just your processes. It's actually like how you do it and then how you transmit that exact twist to the wrist, that, how to pay attention for 2 hours on hair trigger, and how to read the clients and who's about to drive off the road and who's not. And there's a lot to that needs to be somehow encapsulated to pass on.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, you're looking at the whole plan. I mean, even finances. So when you retire or sell your business, you're going to have a tax problem. And a lot of business owners don't realize that. And you're also going to have a legal problem. What happens if that person who's bought the business defaults? Are you carrying a note? Are you carrying paper on it? There's so many other factors that people are not aware of when it comes to.
Have you personally guaranteed loans on the business? And
I bought one of my businesses with the seller's money. So
Wow.
I didn't default. I paid him off.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and that's the thing also. I think there's a lot of people who build themselves a job, which if that's you're doing on purpose.
Right.
Like I am building my business. I'm not necessarily building a business. I'm building a money generating personal identity. I'm building a job that's not a job, but I fully recognizing I'm not building a sellable asset. I couldn't sell the guy who knows a guy. That's
right. Because you're the guy who knows the guy.
You're the guy.
Nobody wants to buy the Power Lunch Live show. But I recognize that I'm doing that. So I'm not thinking I'm building a business.
No.
Because I'm not building a sellable asset. Although there are a couple of persistent revenue assets within it. But I'm not building a kind of sellable asset. I'm building, I don't want a job. I'm making my own job that works my way by my rules. But I'm not deluding myself into thinking I'm building a business because there's nothing to sell here.
Yeah. There's always licensing and franchising too. I know someone who built a business just like yours, and someone goes, I want to do what you do. And they go, you can't, I'm the guy. And they go, wait a minute. Let me write all the things I do as the guy, and I'll sell you that system.
Yeah.
And you are now the guy.
Yeah, that's an interesting way to. That's what I thought about too. Is because I do sometimes talk about like I am the guy who knows a guy, but you could be a guy who knows a guy, and I could teach.
Yes.
How to be
a guy who knows a guy. That's licensed.
The other guy who knows.
Yep. The guys who know guys.
Yeah,
that's us. We're with some guys.
And you could train and mentor people. Like that's what we do. Barbara, my business partner, has been known for many, many years as the paper tiger lady, taming the paper tiger. She still is the leader of that whole. She's a leader in the organizing industry, but then now we train and certify other consultants in her methodology. So now they have their own businesses. So our business is training and certifying them, and then they have their own business. So you could train and certify some guys who know some guys.
Yeah.
And even branch out. A gal who knows a gal.
Yeah.
A gal who knows a gal. Exactly.
And that's how I know you haven't read my book. Because my book explicitly says guy is gender neutral.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. After many months of trying to find some other way to express it that didn't sound, we couldn't come up with anything because it's like how do you replace a 3-letter word that just so precisely nails it? Because everything else is multiple syllables. A person who knows a person who's valuable, the man or woman who knows a valuable opportunity, just not the same.
Yeah.
So not at all. So we're talking a bit about organization. So Andrea, tell us a bit more about the art of taming chaos.
Taming the paper tiger. Yeah. So of course, Barbara started over 40 years ago helping offices, business owners dealing with the paper and the physical stuff. And now, of course, that we're in the digital world. And a lot of people thought that, we have email now. We're paperless. We're a paperless society. We don't need paper, but that's not the case. We are still working with many, 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 many people who still have paper. And now the clutter in the digital world, Barbara calls it a faster hidden mess. So it's there. So I always use the example of imagine your desk. Well, think about your email inbox right now. And I don't know anything about you two on here.
I'd rather not think about my email inbox, actually.
As far as your email inbox, I'm not looking in your inboxes, but I want you to imagine however many emails you have in your inbox. Imagine those are each individual pieces of paper on your desk, in your office. And, we have clients. I think the highest one was around, 500,000 emails in the inbox. Most are in we have a lot that are 10, 20, 30, 50, 80,000 emails. So imagine if those were individual pieces of paper on your desk. That takes up a lot of mental energy, you're missing opportunities. So whether it's physical or digital clutter, it doesn't matter. It's still robbing you of time in your business. It's robbing you of opportunities. Maybe you have a new potential client, but you lost the business card, or you lost the contract, or you lost the information, and it's on your desk somewhere. So one of the things you said to teach something, so I'll just teach. One of the very first things we do with a new client is say, number one is designate a space. And I think you both have it. anybody listening, designate a space that is your command center. Some of our clients have home offices, or you've got your command center there. Yeah. Some of them don't. Some command centers are a corner of the dining room table, and that's okay. The kitchen counter. I mean, if that's what you have. In fact, we work with clients who don't have a business either, but they still have paper, and we call that the home office for the business of life. Also, the home office for business and life, if they have both. So you need to have a place that is kind of your bill paying and your paper processing place. And then, so number one is identify the space. And then number two, we teach some boot camp style classes where we come together on a certain date. And one of the questions we get is when people sign up for that is, what can I do before the class starts? What can I do to get started? And so number one is identify the space. Number two, get rid of the obvious clutter. So guys, look around your space right now. If you have any, I have a coffee cup, but I'm actually drinking coffee out of it. But do you have anything that's you're not using right now? I mean, and for us girls, and this, this could be gender neutral too. Hair ties, like if you have hair ties, sitting around. If you purchase software or a new microphone for your business and you have the box, you still have the box sitting around, that's obvious clutter. You can get rid of that. So go ahead and get rid of the obvious clutter. And then we have a system and I'll end with this piece. We call it the file act system, or trim the fat from your desk or and so there are 3 initial decisions that you need to make about any piece of paper. So that could be an email. That could be in the papers piles on your desk now, as well as new things coming in, like the mail coming in today. You would do the same process with that. And you would ask yourself these 3 questions. Number 1, do I need to file this for future reference? Do I need to act on this? Or can I toss it? So file, act, toss. Okay. File for future reference, act on it, which means the ball is in your court. You need to do something. You need to call someone, or you need to email, or you need to sign, and you need to mail, whatever the action is. Or can you toss it? And toss, recycle, or shred is, any of those options. So, we talk about, one of the quotes that Barbara says is, today's mail is tomorrow's pile. So that means we put our system in place. So we have a new system, and you've got these new, decisions that you're going to make. You have to put that in place before you go back to all the old stuff. So if you've got boxes of old paper, we ignore that at first. Don't even worry about the old stuff. We need to put a system in place for the current and the new stuff coming in. Then you can go back and deal with the old stuff. Otherwise, while you're dealing with the old stuff, the new stuff's coming in and piling up. So we want people to be able to check their mail, or print something off the internet, or print an email, or somebody gives them something. We want them to have a place for it to flow. And the first 3 places are file for future reference, act, or toss. And then from there, those are the pieces that we teach, is what to do with the file stuff. And I'll just say this, one of the things that is unique about Productive Environment Institute and what Barbara teaches, and how she got the name of the paper tiger lady. There are all kinds of organizers out there, professional organizers, productivity consultants. Barbara solved the problem of how not just creating a filing system, but a finding system. Because a lot of times once you file something, you don't ever find it again, because you don't remember what you called it. You don't remember what you named it. And we solved that problem. And that's how I found Productive Environment Institute, how I found Barbara. I was working in family preservation. I was working for a family counseling company, and my boss she would always say, you need to come organize my office. And I would go and do the traditional filing. I would alphabetize, I would label, I created all the little labels. I even color coded. I did every single thing under the sun that existed in the world of how to organize files, and nothing worked. She would come back and she would say, looks great. My office looks great. Thanks. But I can't find anything. And the easiest example of why that is, if you think of a filing cabinet and you have a file for your car. So you're going to label that car and you're going to file it under C. But then 6 months from now, you get something in the mail for your vehicle registration. And you go and you see, do I have a file for this? And you go to V, thinking vehicle, and there's nothing there. So you create a new folder called vehicle. Now you've got a folder in the top drawer under C, and now you got a folder in the bottom drawer under V. And then somebody else comes in and says automobile or something. And now you've got 3 folders of all the same stuff, and you don't realize it. And that's just a simplified example, but we all have multiple files of things because we forgot we already had it. Then when you're looking for something, you're digging through all these things. So our system solves that problem. Barbara solved that problem 46 years ago and did it, on paper, basically creating a file index, creating an index of what's in your physical filing cabinet. And now we have a system that we do it, on the computer. So we bridge, here's the example. Like if you're looking for something in cyberspace, you're looking for something online, you just Google it, right? You just type in and it pulls it up from wherever it is. It doesn't matter what it's filed next to. Doesn't matter alphabetical or not. It's not in cyberspace. It's either looking for, but we couldn't do that in our own office. Like we can find things out there, but we can't find things in our own filing cabinet. Now we can. And so we created we help clients declare, making those decisions, and then create a file index for all the things that they keep. In fact, one of Barbara's books is called Organizing Paper at Home, What to Toss and How to Find the Rest. That's the key. And that's how we're different than any traditional productivity or organizing systems out there. Because our goal is to help you find anything you file in seconds. And Steve, back to you on that, because when somebody's trying to sell their company or prepare their company for potential sale, you want to be able to get your hands on things quickly and to be able to turn over not just the files, but an index and says, here's where all of these things are located, which filing cabinet, which room, which office, even a garage or a room down the hall. You can literally leave breadcrumbs for where everything is. So in a nutshell, that's what we do.
Yeah, it's definitely important to be able to find, and even with, like I said, the digital can do that. A lot of my key documents I keep on Google Drive, and so that has Google search built into it, and that helps, but mostly, not always, because still having the right systems is still pretty crucial. Because sometimes it won't find the things you're looking for. And sometimes Google tries to help you. And you're like, I'm looking for this document. It's called JV Connect. They're like, oh, do you mean connections to JVs? And I'm like, no, I mean the one called JV Connect. Don't second guess me.
JV
I know
Connect,
what for.
Exactly.
It'll try to.
And our tool,
it's gotten less helpful and more helpful, actually, now that your algorithm improved. But for a while, it was.
So we cross-reference. I know. I get it. We cross-reference between the physical and the digital. And that's another thing we run into with a lot of clients is that, how with Google Drive and iCloud and Dropbox, all these tools, they start you out with, free, I know Google is like 15 gigabytes free, right? And then once you go past that, they charge you. So then what people do is they say, I don't want to pay, so I'm going to open up another Google account. And so I get 15 more free. And then they say, then Dropbox offers them something.
$2 a month.
I know.
It's $2 a month.
It happens. And it used to be free. I mean, all of it used to be free. But anyway, so now we have clients who come in with multiple drives. And now the problem is you're searching in Google Drive, but is it in Dropbox? And so we have tools to help search across all the platforms if they want to, or to combine and consolidate and condense down to 1 or 2 platforms. So
I think that
we also have people with multiple. It's the same thing happens with email accounts. Yeah,
I think that brings the problem of people get so fixated on dollars they don't think about other assets. So they're like, oh, I don't want to pay for that. well, it's $2 a month or $5 a month. I think it's $2 or $5 a month I'm paying for 2 terabytes of storage.
Yeah.
And I basically looked at it and said, so I could try to dig through and find the right things and delete them in clear space, but that would probably take 2 hours to get me 3 months, and then it'll fill up again. Or I could spend $5 a month and never have to worry about it. And it does have the advantage of, often you keep things like there's a 0.2% chance I might someday need this, but probably not. So paper you throw away because it's not worth storing. Digital, maybe I'll need it. 20 years from now, it's still in my Google Drive. I can search it up. There it is. And otherwise, it's not in my way. So again, $5 a month. But I think some people get fixated on, I don't want to pay for this. I want everything to be free. And so they spend 3 hours a week saving $5 a month.
Right.
Which, as long as your time's worth less than $2 an hour, then by all means, that's a great thing to do.
You're going to pay for it one way or the other. Paying for it one way or the other.
Yeah, that's it.
And that's the other thing I recognize with events is there's no such thing as a free event. There's events you don't pay money to attend, but there's no such thing as a free one, because if you're going to come to my free summit, you're investing 6 hours. That's worth way more than money. You can go make more money. You can hire someone to make you more money. You can't make more time. So, whenever I attend an event that's not as advertised, I've gotten more and more harsh about my languaging on this. I used to be like, oh yeah, that wasn't a great event. It was a waste of time. Now I say people who run events that are not as advertised, like come to learn this, but actually I'm just going to pitch you something. They are thieves and liars. They are stealing the most valuable asset people have. They are people without integrity and honesty, and I would not do business with them. So yeah, I'm pretty, even keeled on how I talk about those people. I don't want to offend anyone. I just call them thieves and liars. But time is the most valuable thing. So if I'm asking you for your time, I damn well better deliver what I'm saying when I deliver. If you're going to invest 60 minutes, 90 minutes, 6 hours, 2 days.
Right. Yeah. And what comes up a lot where it's interesting how it's socially acceptable to say that you are so busy you don't have time, like that you have a time management problem. Having a time management problem is okay, but saying you have paper clutter or email clutter is not okay. But what people don't realize is the paper and the email clutter is what's causing many times the time management problem, because you are spending time looking for lost information. You're looking for things. And one study shows that for the average worker, the statistic was the average worker spends 150 hours per year just looking for, and when you executive the business owner, it's 300 hours per year just looking for stuff you have. And so you either are just looking for it, or you create a new one. You start over and you're duplicating it. So yeah, you're paying for it. Again, you're paying for it one way or the other. So yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, those are key things, all about systems and processes. And and what you're saying about dealing with the stuff as it comes in rather than the old stuff. Yeah. That's one thing I sometimes talk to my wife about. When, like, I just don't have time to clean. I don't have time to. I'm like, no, we need systems. It's like, well, no, I just need more time to clean and time to catch up. I'm like, no, like mail, when it comes in, where does it go? Well, I don't know. That's why we have piles of paper on the kitchen table. Not because you don't have time to clean it, but because you touch it 4 times. It comes in, it goes here, and then we move it over to here, and then we move it over to here. Then we open it, and then we leave it here, and then it goes here. And like, systems. But I always think it's hilarious when people say, Michael, you're so organized. And I said, what? Organized? That's a word I'm not used to associating with myself. But I prefer to call that functional, because without the organization, I would not be functional. And so sometimes people say, oh yeah, like I have systems for booking calls. You want to get on my calendar, I send you a calendar link. And I've had people say, I don't like those things. Let's just, get on let's just call me whenever. You know when I talk to those people? Never. Yeah. There's no, I checked my calendar. There's Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And there's various numbers, but I have not found whenever anywhere on it. I don't know if I have to scroll down to find whenever, but I've never found a whenever.
Yeah.
Oh, my favorite is when someone says, "Oh, just call me whenever," and I try calling them 3 times. They don't answer any of those 3 times.
I called you whenever.
Yeah.
But
Whenever.
But you didn't.
your whenever.
I'll
is not
answer
the
whenever.
Yeah.
That's right.
See, that's where those systems and processes come into place for increasing productivity and reducing all of that. And I totally understand you with Michael on the calendar. Same thing happened to me. I'm like, well, here's the link. You don't like it? Have a nice day. I do it for systems and your convenience as well as the proper way. So we're being professional businesses here. If you want to just go loosey-goosey, I'm not the guy to talk to. I'll recommend you to someone else who I think is down the street or on the street in a van, and he'll help you out.
Yeah. And I think some people's attitude of like,
Well-
I want to do it the old-fashioned way of, just one man calls another on the telephone. Well, that's not how the old-fashioned way is. One man's secretary calls another man's secretary and books a time for them to talk.
Yeah.
Or one man's secretary
Good
calls
point.
another man's secretary and says, "Is Mr. Feld free right now?" "Yes, he is." "Okay. Mr. Whitehouse, Mr. Feld is free right now. Can you take the call?" It's never been just like one business owner just picks up a phone and calls someone.
Yeah.
Or at least not in any
Well,
time
and
that
it's
people
also and it's
Uh-oh, we lost her.
Uh-oh.
Hopefully she'll be back soon. But yeah, along those lines, the other thing I do with my calendar links is they often have questions in them. So my one-to-one calendar talks about like, who's your ideal introduction? What goals are you working on right now? How did we meet? What's your goal in this meeting? And people are like, "Oh yeah, can we just do it this way?" I'm like, "Sure, but I'm going to need the answers to these questions before we get on the call." Because after, my first 500 one-to-ones where the first 20 minutes was, "How did we meet? Oh, I think it was this. No, I think it was that. Oh, yeah, Steven. Oh, yeah, Steve's a great guy." And then, well, guess we're out of time. Thanks for talking. Because they try to bypass the systems. Same thing with my summits.
Yeah.
People be like, "Oh yeah, could I just not fill out this part of the application?" "Sure, you can also just not speak." We have a process. Like with my summits, I don't meet with speakers before I bring them on the summit because I run 20 summits a year. You get on, you're going to get on stage. You're either going to be good or you're not. Hopefully going to be good. And if you're not, you're never going on stage again. That's how I learn if you're any good. I don't need you to tell me for 30 minutes you're going to be good. I need you to show me. And so people be like, "Well, I didn't fill out the application like you told me to because I was waiting for us to have a meeting." I'm like, "Great. Well, the application deadline went by while you were waiting. There was a system. There was a process. You didn't do it. You don't get what you want." And I think also a lot of entrepreneurs need to learn that like you have a process, people follow your process or don't play the game.
That's true. And you got to think, you as a business owner, doesn't matter what business you're in, your time is valuable. You hit on that. These things kind of reduce that wastefulness, the redundancy, just like paper clutter, everything else. We're getting rid of that up front before you're putting a pile of papers on my desk. So just by asking 2-3 questions, that pile of paper is gone.
Yeah, that's true. And sorry, before I bumped off, I think my internet's wacky. But what I was going to say was, when you have the appointment booked, it's like that you have their undivided attention and vice versa. If you're calling me on the fly, I mean, I could be walking my dog. I could be doing 15 other things, decluttering my email. I could be doing anything. And then I'm talking to you and I'm not really paying attention. So having the appointment, it's like, this is our time together. We are together and you have my attention. So I think it's a benefit to both parties.
Yeah.
Sure.
In the first 5 minutes, like if you call me out of the blue, my first 5 minutes, I'm thinking, 1, what is the purpose of this call? And 2, do I have this time right now or not? I'm only half listening to actual content.
Right.
It's all assessing, like, do I need to push the call off? If I do need to push it off, how am I going to push it off? How do I interrupt you to tell you you're going to talk later? How are we going to do that? Am I going to send you a calendar link or book a time right now? Like, there's way more going on in my head than what you want to be talking about. So, yeah, you got me on the phone, but whether or not you're able to do something with it.
Too, like, do you have time to talk today? Yeah, I got this time. Good, I'll take it. I put them on the calendar. Now we're booked.
Yep.
And I know sometimes
Yeah.
people are like, you sent me a calendar invite. Yeah. So you don't forget.
Part of my
'cause
system.
You called me for the meeting.
Yep. That's the other reason I like people to go through my Calendly link is it automatically sends reminders.
That's right.
It's funny. I've had thousands. I don't know. I think it's like 3,000 or 4,000 meetings booked through Calendly now. And I've had maybe half a dozen people who complain they got too many reminders. It's 3 emails and 3 texts in 3 hours, 1 hour, and 15 minutes prior to the meeting. I've had maybe half a dozen people complain.
Mm-hmm.
Now I've had a few people like, wow, your system's really insistent. Like, I want to make sure people show up. They say, oh yeah, no, I totally understand. I love it. I might copy it. Those people, those tend to be great calls. But if they say, you know, your system's really pushy, I don't like getting that many emails. And I've learned if somebody opens the call that way, I'd be like, I don't think we need to continue this call. We can go now. Because I've never had a call start that way that went well. Every call that started with them complaining about the system, they have not been fully engaged in it. They haven't been, it just has not been a valuable meeting. And as I'm thinking about this context of process and system, they're disrespecting the process. They are indicating, the other key thing is one of my questions is, can I add you to my email list? Which I actually say, like, can I add you to my email community and share valuable information? Almost everyone says yes. If someone says no, 70% chance the call doesn't go well. Because if they say, I don't want to get on your email list on using my networking call link, then they're basically saying, I'm not interested enough in you to read some emails that occasionally come into my email box, but I want 30 minutes of your time.
Right.
And that is often every once in a while, it's, you know, we're using that link for a specific business purpose, like, and like we're going to do this and just this. Okay, cool. But if there's not a specific reason, that is a huge red flag when I see a no on that, because it's telling them, they're basically telling me, I want 30 minutes of your time, but I'm not willing to give you 2 minutes of my time tomorrow. And
that's it.
Yeah, that's been a pretty clear indicator, which is funny because when I first put it in there, I thought, half people are going to say no. Who wants to be on my email list? Well, if somebody wants to spend 30 minutes with me talking to me face to face, they are probably also open to reading the emails I send out.
Yeah, I just look at it as a very simple litmus test. It's a simple litmus test, nothing complex, but that gives you the quality of who you want to meet with. And I'll even do it, you know, pre-pandemic with coffee meetings, right? I would camp out at a coffee place and hold all my meetings in one day, back to back to back. But if you didn't fill out the Calendly form, why are we meeting? What is your goal or objective out of this meeting? So when they came in, we did 3 minutes of small talk, 25 minutes of let's get this stuff done.
Yep.
And set up the next appointment, or I'll give you a resource or a connection and we go.
Yep. Yeah.
And people who complained about it, I said, cancel the meeting. I'll cancel it. Done. I don't need you to come and not show up now.
Yeah. Yep. It's true.
That just
exactly
coffee on my table.
Yeah. The other thing, people who don't answer the questions. That's the other one.
Yeah.
I had one is like, didn't answer or the only answer they gave me was, this is too many questions. And so I emailed them back with all the questions on the form and 2 more. And I found most of the time, if they don't want to answer the questions, they're trying to sell me something.
Yeah.
And they're not good at it, because if you want to sell someone something, you comply with everything they're looking for. I learned that selling car. I remember the first car dealership I worked at, I'd go to my manager and I'd say, hey, the customer wants to know this. And the manager say, they don't need to know that. I'm like, the hell they don't. You know how I know they need to know that? Because if I have a customer who says, what's the average rainfall in Brazil? You find out for me what the average rainfall in Brazil is. That's a test, and we just failed. And once I was working for a better dealership and had more access to the internet and had more control of information, I sold so many more cars. Because anything someone asked, no matter how stupid the question was, you know, they're like, well, what would the payments be on this other car I'm not even looking at? Well, let me go find out for you. That'd be between $300 and $400 a month. And I'm like, oh, okay. And what about, what kind of rubber? Where's the rubber come from in the tires in these cars? Oh, let me go look that up for you. And even I said, well, I'm not sure, but according to the internet, it's such and such. I'm like, cool, you jumped through my hoop. All right, now I'm going to buy a car from you. You jumped through 3 hoops for me. I like you. that's how rapport works.
Yeah, I don't know
Yeah.
if you did this. I wish it was my idea, but someone told me a long time ago with the sales calls that it's going to be a sales pitch to you is give them a calendar link. It's just a special one that they have to, you're charging them to get on your calendar. Yeah, I'll listen to your pitch or whatever.
I
And
have that.
I've heard so many
Yeah.
people and they come back like, I have to pay to be on your calendar. Yes, you do. You're wasting my time.
Yeah, I have one of those. I got it from someone. I can't remember who I copied the idea from. Or I may have come up with it myself. I don't remember which. But yeah, what was it? Because Calendly just has a charge for appointments.
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, because that's the thing, for the right person, if they've really qualified you, if they've really qualified you and you're like, no, I have this product for you. You're going to want it. It's worth $10,000. Yeah. Here, Steve, have $100. I'm that confident that I can deliver value to you. Because what do you pay for a lead on a high ticket client?
Exactly.
Hundreds of dollars. So the idea of paying someone $100 is not a terrible strategy if you're selling high ticket, because it shows you're serious. Like if someone reached out to you and said, listen, I want to make a pitch to you. You have no reason to listen to me. So tell you what, I will either give you $100 or I'll donate it to a charity of your choice. Because I want to buy 25 minutes of your time to explain this, because I am so confident you're going to be excited about this. Ian? I imagine a lot of people be like, well, you're clearly in, so okay. Because obviously
it makes sense.
The salesman's time is invaluable to the salesman, obviously.
Yeah.
The way they waste it. So.
And it works another way too. It's like if I want to be on, let's say, Michael's calendar, and he says I'm going to charge $100 because you're going to just ask me questions because I want information. Fine. If I know he has the information and all the resources I am looking for, I will come there with my questions ready to go. Here's my money. And I've done that with someone and they said, for 20 minutes, it's going to be this. Here's my money. They knew I was serious. And I came, hey, it's great to know you. Thank you. Here's the first question. I'm not BSing now. It's like, let's get to business. Yep. He helped me out so much in 20 minutes. And he actually refunded me right after the meeting. He goes,
really?
Serious.
Wow.
And I was like,
okay. I have that. I don't refund the money, but I do have a calendar link that's basically it's tap my knowledge network. It's basically pick my brain.
Yeah.
Because I love sharing knowledge. That's why I do a free podcast and all this stuff. But at the same time, if you offer free coaching, like I book a free coaching session, you don't get the people you want to talk to. Right. You're going to get people who are going to whine and complain and argue with you and mindset issues. Any friend of mine who reaches out and say, hey, how do I get a job? How do I, I'm severely in debt. How do I get out of this? I'll get on a call with them for 30, 40 minutes for free to help them out. But you want me to do mindset work? You got to pay me. That's work. Yeah. Like telling you how to get a job, that's not work. I can explain how to get a job. And I did a TikTok once. I did in 180 seconds. I did the entire networking to a job strategy. That's not hard to explain. But when you're like, well, I've tried that, nothing works, and nobody's hiring, and I'm too old, or I'm too... I had someone the other day who somehow ended up on the phone with me, who was talking about speaking. And she said, she was talking to someone. She's like, well, I was talking to a 70-year-old guy, and he was getting booked. I'm like, of course you're getting booked. You're 70. Because as we know, 70-year-olds get booked for speaking gigs all the time, and it's easy for them. I'm like, what? I have never heard that before. But it was such a mindset issue of just like, oh well, it's because of me. It's because of traits about me. I can't get booked. And meanwhile, I'm looking at this person's profile, and I'm like, everyone wishes they were you, because you checked so many boxes of categories people want on the stage, but she couldn't see that. She could only see like people are saying no to me, so it must be me. It's not what I'm doing. Clearly, it's nobody wants to, they're racist, they're sexist, they're this, they're that.
Yeah.
So,
have you guys heard of Minnect? MINNECT. I think that's the name of it. Minnect. It is. Are you familiar with Patrick Bet David? PBD. He started it, I believe, Connect, and it's exactly what you guys are talking about. It's a platform where you can go on as what am I trying to say? As an expert. And people can come in if they want to talk to you, they can pay if they want to connect with you, they can pay money to text you and text back and forth. They can text you a question, or if they want to talk to you, they can pay for 15 minutes of your time. And a lot of celebrities are on there. I haven't a little while when I first looked. I mean, to talk to Patrick Bet-David, it's like thousands of dollars to talk to him for 30 minutes. But other regular people, $20 for 15 minutes or something like that. But that's what people can, get to you and pay a fee, and you get paid. And of course, the platform Connect gets paid as well. It's pretty neat.
There's such a concept.
There's
one called Owl.
Go on there.
There's one called Owl, which is similar, but Connect, but Owl doesn't have texting.
Oh, is it?
So with Owl, there's an issue of like it's not really clear if you have a question who the right person to talk to is, and
who. Okay, with this, it's like you specifically go there in search of. I want to talk to. I mean, there's, like I said, there's celebrities on there. Like there's politicians on there. I want to connect with this particular person, and you can pay for their time. Which it goes back to your point of having the calendar link be a payment. Like if somebody wants to pick your brain or talk to you, I mean, okay, but here's my link, and here's what it costs. So anyway, I think it's pretty neat.
Yeah, it's great concept, because I think so often. I mean, my main program is $100 a month, Foundations Inner Circle, and it is basically get on a call with me once a week, and you can access me through a private circle community and whatnot. But it is to ask all those little dumb questions, because sometimes you need someone like Steve to come in and like revamp your business, or you need someone like Andrea to come in and build up a whole system. And sometimes you're just like, I'm stuck. I need more sales somehow, but I don't know. I don't know what I know. I don't have money. I don't know what else. And so just having someone who's there to just work the process. All right. If you get a prospect on a call, can you close them? Yes, no. Yes, I can. I just can't get them on calls. Okay. Do you have a list? Yeah, I got 4,000 people on my email list. All right. Well, so it's right here, getting them from the list to the calls. That's where you're missing it. So either here's a strategy, or here's an expert you can call to learn from, but it's so hard to do that for yourself and figure out like what part of the system you're missing. So I created the 9 foundational questions. And question 7 is, how do you close them once you're on a call? Question 8 is, how do you get them onto a call? Question 9 is, how do you build your audience? A lot of people think they need question 9, I need more leads, where they really need question 7 or 8. How do you get them booked on a call, or how do you close them once you're on a call? I need to learn how to close better. Oh, how many calls have you had this week? 1. All right. I don't think that's your problem then. Try talking to more people. But it's knowing where that is, which is crucial. So speaking of knowing where this is, it is the top of the hour and almost time for the village. So it's time for our final thoughts. So I need to look in the bottom right where the clock is, not the running timer. Like, I'm 53 minutes in, and we started late. So let's get some final thoughts. This has been fun. All right, Steve, final thoughts.
My final thought is, listen, you can't run your business all by yourself. Get some help. People are out there who are passionate about doing things like accounting or systems, process, organization. Get the help you need to really start focusing on your business and growing it. Get rid of that stress.
Nice. Yes. Seek professional help. Yeah. People say that all the time for some people.
I second that. I second that. Asking for help is not a sign of weakness. It's a sign of wisdom. We're not supposed to know how to do everything. We weren't trained. I mean, organization wasn't taught as we were all growing up, having systems. Most of our clients, I'll say all of our clients, are very, very brilliant people. They are very good at what they do, but they struggle with disorganization and overwhelm. And so there are systems and tools, and you can be taught to implement them. So And we offer a free webinar. If you go to productiveenvironment.com, there on the screen, you'll see a little pop-up for a free webinar. You can come learn about some things you can do right now to help you start decluttering and getting organized. So those are my final thoughts.
Well, thank you. This has been lots of fun, and I had plenty of chances to rant, so that always makes a good show. So, and yeah, so a lot of great concepts. Hopefully, folks watching learned a lot. Folks watching replay can learn a lot. And if you are watching this live, join us right over in the Village. Go to guywhoknowsaguy.com/village, which is happening right now as soon as I get off this and get over there. And don't forget to get your JV Connect tickets for the best darn networking event on the internet. Or as we discussed last night, the networking event with no but. Okay, I got to explain that. Someone was telling me that, I was coaching someone last year and they said, where do I use all the stuff you're teaching me? And so we can go to this event, but it's, there's not great people. You can go to this event, but the format's kind of a pain. You can go to this event, but the host talked too much. I said, I need to make an event with no but. Because every event I try to invite people to, there's a but. So let's try to make one no but. So JV Connect, the event with no but.
Love it.
And with that, I will bid you all farewell. See some of you in the Village, others of you next week, and others of you in the future. Thank you all for joining.
Bye. Thanks.